Alrighty, everybody. So, I thought it would be fun if we looked into some Trump indictment stuff. And I think what's fundamental to any of this conversation is if you look at what or where it began or what it was founded on, which is largely that election claims were fraudulent. So, with that said, we're not going to get to all of these at all, but I figured we could start off with the notion of fraudulent ballots, which allegedly favored Biden winning the election. So my understanding is that there's this guy called John Lott, per this article here, and he wrote a paper claiming there was evidence of fraud in absentee ballots in Georgia and Pennsylvania, and a PNAS study wrote a response to him, saying that it was entirely dependent on the complete arbitrary order in which pairs of precincts in other countries are entered in the dataset, and that his conclusions about voter fraud were utterly baseless. So, cool. Here's his paper. So, study reports 3 tests measuring voting fraud, although they provide inconsistent evidence. So, the claim... So his analysis finds that such permission contributed to a statistically significant additional 5.3 thousand to 7.2 thousand votes for Biden. Finally, vote fraud can be shown as artificially large voter turnouts, higher rates of filling out absentee ballots for people who hadn't voted, dead people voting, ineligible people voting, or payments for votes. The estimates for Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin combined indicate there was between 146,000 and 334,000 excess votes for Biden. So, basically, they compared voting to cheering at a sporting event. I figured we could look into this and just kind of see what the general claims are. But the other thing I should probably mention before I do all this is that there's been no rebuttal that I can find to this paper right here. There's no response to it whatsoever. So there's a lot here. Let's just see what this paper. How? So, President Trump claimed 2020 presidential election was stolen, as Americans apparently believed him. We assess the most prominent statistical claims offered by Trump and his allies as evidence of election fraud, including claims about Dominion voting machines switching votes from Trump to Biden, suspiciously high turnout in Democratic strongholds, supposedly inexplicable failure of Biden to win bellwether counties, which are basically counties that are notorious for voting the same way, basically. So we use a combination of statistical reasoning and original data analysis to assess these claims. We hope our analysis contributes to public discussion about the integrity of the 2020 election and broader challenges of election security and election administration. So basically the claim for this paper is that these the voter data was anomalous, or the voter turnouts was anomalous. This paper right here is just saying that Charlie Kirk, these are not actually anomalous. And the reason for that is because of just how they're presented, which is usually the issue with all statistics. You can spin nearly any story that you want. Does anyone else have a hard time believing Joe Biden won a high record of number of votes despite winning a record low number of counties? Later that day, he provided numbers to back up the claim, stating that Barack Obama won 69 million votes, 873 counties. In 2008, Donald Trump won 74 million votes in 2,400 counties, or 2,500 in 2020. Well, Biden won 81 million votes just for 77 counties. Well, Kirk understated the number of counties Biden won by 37, not 477. The basic fact is correct. Biden won far more votes than Trump or Obama, while winning far fewer counties than Trump and so few counties than Obama. Biden won so few counties. How could he have legitimately won so many votes? So this is interesting. So adding to the minimal context to Kirk's numbers reveals that there is nothing remotely suspicious or even anomalous about them. The reason Biden won a clear majority of votes while winning in minority counties is that his support was concentrated in populous counties. This is typical of recent Democratic presidential candidates. And so, just to be clear, what we mean by populous counties, heavily populated counties. So, don't believe me. It's a large population. Anyway. I have way too many tabs open here. So, this is typical of recent Democratic presidential candidates. Figure 1 shows the proportion of votes in counties won by Democratic presidential candidates over the last several decades. As Democratic supporters become more concentrated in cities, Democratic candidates have tended to win a smaller share of counties, even as their share of votes holds steady. Judging by both votes and counties, Biden did slightly better than Hillary Clinton in 2016 and worse than Obama in 2008. Biden won many more votes than Obama, as Kirk pointed out, but a smaller share of votes turnout in 2020 was extraordinarily high. This is why I just have a problem with lay people like Kirk, who, although he's very good at debate, he does just like cherry pick the shit out of stuff. But a smaller share of votes turnout in 2020 was extraordinarily high. So thus the supposedly incredible discrepancy Charlie Kirk highlighted is simply the continuation of a stable trend in U.S. presidential elections. So yes, votes are similar. If you look at from 1960 to 2020, and counties are pretty all over the place. So it does just seem that if you provide like the extra context, that this is not really that statistically significant of a claim. It just sounds like you're cherry picking data and trying to misrepresent facts. Not that that's necessarily what happened, but it does seem at the minimum careless, which he did. He did mention that they provide inconsistent evidence. And just to be clear, what were the 3 tests in John Lott's paper? Yeah, so you gotta be. I would read the whole thing, but you gotta be fairly quick. And how long have I been going here? 9 minutes. Great. Time flies. A related claim was made about Biden's performance in bellwether counties, which counties were a majority of, had supported the election winner in several consecutive elections. Electoral jiu-jitsu. Basically, people making a bunch of extreme claims about it. That's wild, statistically improbable. Makes sense given 2 facts. First, at the county level, there was remarkable continuity between 2016 and 2020. Not only did Biden win the roughly the same proportion of counties as Clinton, but he won almost the same set of counties as shown in Figure 2A. Only 63 counties. So instead of going through all that super in depth, Clinton Biden 474 counties, 84 million votes. Trump Biden, 63 counties, 98 million voters. Trump 22,559, and Clinton Trump 15 counties. That's pretty wild. So anyway, let's go back to the article. So most counties did not shift much. The bellwethers, Colorado were no exception. Okay. Considering that the bellwether counties appear to have no special prognostic value in general, and that the county level results are very similar in 2020 and 2016, is neither surprising nor suspicious that Biden won just... Oh yeah, let's see what they got here. So the first test compares voting precincts in a county with alleged fraud adjacent precincts in neighboring counties with no allegations of fraud. Yeah, see, that's just very, that's just way too close of to assess the full picture. Second test applies the same method to provisional ballots in Allegheny County. Voters were allowed to correct alleged defects in absentee ballots by submitting provisional ballots on Election Day. Third test examines vote fraud as artificially larger voter turnouts, higher rates of filling out absentee ballots for people who hadn't voted, dead people voting, and eligible voting, or payments for votes. Is there anything? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So anyway, the differences between 2016 and 2020 are not anomalous. Trump advocates argue on the basis of statistical analysis that there was a 1 in a quadrillion chance. By this prick. Texas lawsuit against the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Shitty calculated 1 in a quadrillion chance. Nice. Shitty concludes his report by arguing that, in my opinion, the outcome of Biden winning is so statistically, it's not possible. Shichetti's assertion that Biden's victory was statistically improbable is based on deeply misguided application of the null hypothesis. Significance testing. Says Shetty never actually computes the probability of Biden winning. Instead, he tests the null hypothesis that Joe Biden in 2020 and Hillary Clinton in 2016 had the same expected number of votes in particular states, but if the objective is to assess whether Biden won legitimately, then it is beside the point whether Biden and Clinton enjoyed the same expected support. Support can differ across candidates for any number of reasons, and it is absurd to think that any such difference constitutes evidence of election fraud. It's a binomially distributed random variable in test hypothesis that expected number of Democrats' votes in Arizona was the same for Joe Biden in 2020 as it was for Hillary Clinton. And here's some statistics. Biden won that much. 2016 yields Z 477.09, or p-value very close to 0, giving that Biden won a substantially large share, a much larger total. That we soundly reject the null hypothesis that two candidates had the same expected vote total. It's preposterous to attribute, So anyway, I'm not going to go into this too much more. I think something that would be interesting, though, is just to kind of hop into... this is really nifty. Oh, jeez. Didn't know that. We just copy. Maybe this will pick it up. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff can kind of just be you don't even have to go into a lot of this. I mean, you can if you want, but a lot of this can kind of just be disputed with basic epistemology. If you're making a claim about something, it's got to come from somewhere. It can't just be baseless. And if a lot of it is from short-sighted statistics and wild claims on YouTube, I mean, generally, you should be questioning it at best and just kind of look which is like a more comprehensive picture of the evidence. And right now, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that this one is. So I mean, maybe honestly I should stream and maybe just like try to read like the whole of each one and try to just like figure everything out to a T. And then the same with this one. I think that would be a lot more beneficial and probably a lot more convincing just to anybody who's still on the fence about the subject. But yeah, anyway, I think that's all enough for now. If you have anything you'd like me to go over more or comment on, just let me know below, and I'll try to address that in the next video. So thank you. Bye.